Hare Krishna everyone, hope you had a lovely day. Welcome to Soma Vedic Astrology channel. Today we will discuss about the placement first lord in the 6th house. What do you mean by the lord of the house in Vedic astrology? Now each planet has got a responsibility of handling either one or two houses. So this planets become the lord of those houses. Now look at this table to see which planet is the lord of which zodiac sign. So if you see this table, Mars is the lord of two zodiac signs, which is Aries and Scorpio. Venus is the lord of two zodiac signs, Taurus and Libra. So in this way, each of the planet has gotten a department to handle either one or two zodiac signs. Now let us try to understand that with an example. Now for example, if in your chart third lord is in the fourth house, so how you conclude whether third lord is in fourth house? So if you see, this is the first house where 12 is written, this is the second house where 1 is written, and this is the third house where 2 is written. Now what is 2? If we have a look at the table, then 2 is nothing but the Taurus zodiac sign. And who is the lord of Taurus zodiac sign? It is Venus. Okay, so what you will say then, lord of the third house is Venus. Okay, because it is the lord of the Taurus zodiac sign. And but where is Venus placed? Now Venus is placed in the fourth house of the birth chart. So this is how you will conclude that third lord is in the fourth house. So today we will check the placement first lord in the 6th house, but before that I have already made detailed videos on what all things can we see from the first house as well as from the 6th house. Please go and check that out before proceeding with this video. Also, a small disclaimer. Please note that this is a general prediction depending only on the placement of a lord in a specific house. Accurate results will come after considering the zodiac sign, planets, dignity of the planets, retrogression, combustion, aspects, nakshatra, ascendant, shardbal, conjunction, and your running time period, which is Mahadasha, Antardasha, etc. So now first lord is going 6 places away and sitting in the 6th house. 6 places away always shows areas of life where one has to struggle, where one will face obstacles, where one will have to defeat the enemies, the competitors to win over in that area. And it also shows, dealing with all the shud repos, dealing with diseases, loans, and pending debt. So all of these things is seen when any lord goes 6 places away from itself. Now, first house is part of the Dharma Trikon. The Dharma Trikon in any chart deals with being righteous, following the right path, following a truthful and moralistic path, and not following a path because you are going to gain something from it, right? So, following a path, irrespective whether you get something back in return or not, is what is part of the Dharma Trikon. On the other hand, sixth house is part of the Artha Trikon, wherein the motivation is purely to earn money, to manage money, and to save money so that one can live in this materialistic existence of life. So when these two houses are getting linked to each other, definitely your motivation is to earn wealth in life, especially when this dasha period gets activated. But taking an untruthful or an immoral path of earning wealth might get backfired because the first lord of dharma is getting attached to the 6th house. Now first house is part of the kendra houses. Now kendra houses are the four most basic pillars of any chart. House number 1, 4, 7, and 10 are called as the kendra houses, and it represents yourself, your happiness, your spouse, and your career respectively. First house, apart from being a Kendra house, is also a Trikona house, and Trikona houses are usually the most auspicious houses of any chart. Trikona houses are auspicious because it is linked to blessings because of the work that you have done in past life, ancestral blessings, blessings of God, and sheer luck and support of your fortune. So all this is linked to the Trikona. So when, on the other hand, sixth house is part of the Upachya house. So Upachya houses are those houses in the chart where things are not so good initially, but as and when you learn from both the positive as well as the negative experiences of life, as when you deal with the scenarios, come over it, become mature, become wise, is when things starts to improve with time when it comes to the Upachya houses. Apart from being a Upachya house, sixth house is also a Dusthana house. Now, Dusthana houses are not so pleasant houses of the chart, because all kind of Dusthana houses have certain negative events or negative scenarios attached to it, which generally nobody likes to experience in their lifetime. So when we specifically talk about the sixth house, it deals with dealing with illnesses, dealing with weak health, dealing with enemies, overcoming competition, taking loans and trying to somehow get rid of the loans, poverty, lack of resources, living in misery. All this is part of sixth house. So when the Kendra house or the Trikona is getting linked to a Drishtana or an Upachya house, it is kind of a mixed placement, but because it is a Dusthana, but because it is a Upachya, eventually things will get better with time, because you will be better equipped to deal with those scenarios. First house is a house of your personality, so your personality is also going to grow with time, as and when you are able to deal and overcome all the tribulations that come your way. Themes of self growth is also there with this placement, because each and every obstacle that you are going to conquer, you are going to grow tremendously from it. Now, first lord shows yourself, and sixth house is the house which shows physical seva, the service that you do. So, this is a good placement to do any kind of seva or service to underprivileged people, to help the weaker sections and the vulnerable sections of the society, to fight for the ones who haven't got any kind of justice. So, this is a very good placement to be kind of a voice of the people who don't have a voice. This is also a good placement to be in any kind of job, or to be in any kind of service industry. Basically, the key of this placement is for you to have a stringent routine. Job is something which is going to give you a routine, right? It has a structure. So having a structure of the day, having a routine, becomes tremendously important with this placement specifically. And if your routine is lost, your a daily hourly basis, what you're doing, that is not fixed in your life, then this placement gives problem. So having a structure, having a discipline, having a routine is going to help with this placement. First lord is a lord of self, and sixth house is the house of your enemies, your competitors. So with this placement, sometimes one can take decisions which might be harmful for themselves. Okay, you might act as your own enemy, because first lord is only going and sitting in the house of enemy. You could be your own enemy. You can take certain decisions in your life which could backfire you. So it is important in kind of whenever you're taking a major life changing decision, either consult somebody who is a well wisher, or you can consult an astrologer, or whoever you want to consult, somebody who has the knowledge. Consult before taking a major decision. First lord is a lord of self, and sixth house is a house of legal disputes and court cases. So if this is badly placed, afflicted, then one might have to deal with a scenario of a court case or a legal dispute. And depending on what the first lord is, we can see why the court case would be, and all of these results would be like mostly prominent when this dasha period is activated. First lord is a lord of self, and sixth house is a house of legal disputes, court cases, basically healing service. All this is part of the sixth house. So this is also a good placement to for legal, pharmaceutical industry, army, healing industry. So if any person who is part of a legal field or a pharmaceutical field, in army field or healing related industries, so this is a placement which is working in a good way for them basically. First lord is a lord of self, and sixth house is a house of poverty and lack of required resources to achieve what you want to achieve. So with this placement, there is a possibility that one might not have enough comforts and luxuries, especially growing up and in the initial phases of their life, but they will work towards obtaining them later ahead in in their life. But again, we have not considered any other placements. We are just talking about the singular placement here. First lord is a lord of self, and sixth house is a house which shows competitions and enemies. And first lord also shows your life path. So your life path is going to be majorly to deal with winning over your competitors, winning over your shadripus, winning over your enemies, and to overcome the obstacles of life and completing loans in your life which will come time to time. So this is basically the gist of your life. First lord is a lord of self, and sixth house shows debts and loans. So with this placement, especially when this dasha period is activated, there is a possibility that you will take some kind of loan during this time period. First lord is a lord which shows your life path, and sixth house is a house of your struggles. So with this placement, life will be full of struggles, but then when you are being given struggles, it means you also have the power to deal with those tough situations, and you are going to come stronger out of it. There is no successful person, you read books of any successful person, and you are not going to get a rosy picture out of it, right? They are successful because they are able to win over the struggles that they have gone through. Without struggle, there is not going to be any success. So this is you have to see it as a good placement, that you will be successful after overcoming the struggles. And history and people write success stories only about these people, right? Now, first lord is a lord which shows yourself, your personality, and sixth house is a house of deaths, diseases, enemies, and fights. So in some cases, it is seen that one's personality gets linked to be, that is the sick child, the sick person, or the one who is always fighting or always in conflict, the irritating one, or the picky one, or the one with immense resentment. So while people would not understand that why you have certain behaviors, like why you fight so much or why you have so much resentment inside you, it is something basically which is kind of a mechanism which you have developed because of the certain negative situations that you have experienced in your past, which is what develops your personality as the one who is constantly fighting, because you were neglected earlier. So you have developed that mechanism that no, I will fight and I will get what I want to get, that I will and you also develop kind of immense resentment because you somewhere feel that you haven't gotten the justice that you should have gotten. But it is always better to tone down it a little bit, otherwise you might just scare people away with this kind of attitude. First lord is a lord of self, and sixth house is a house of diseases. So if it is severely afflicted, then there is a possibility of physical disability in extreme cases. First lord is a lord of self, and sixth house is a natural house of Virgo zodiac sign. And Virgo is very methodical, process oriented, and who uses one's intellect to do any certain kind of task. So whenever you are going to get certain obstacle in your life, you will have to overcome it with using your intellectual capacity, keeping emotions aside, and doing some kind of methodical and process oriented approach to overcome your obstacle, rather than going all in and taking certain hasty decision. Okay, instead of that, taking method by method, step one, step two, of solving a problem, that is going to work well in your journey to overcome your obstacles. First lord is a lord of self, and sixth house is a house which shows diseases. So if this is badly placed, afflicted, then one might have to deal with health issues and diseases, at least if in the initial first half of your life, or when this dasha period gets activated. First lord is a lord of self, and sixth house shows fight. So with this placement, it is also seen that one might have to deal with at least one event of an intense physical fight, which gives kind of a lasting permanent injury mark on some part of the body, and especially in the head area of the body, because first lord also shows the head part of a body. Now first lord is a lord of self, and sixth house is a natural house of Virgo zodiac sign. So here you are naturally getting that personality of being very nitpicking, or complaining attitude, all the Virgo related attributes you are getting here. So you should try to curb on the nitpicking and complaining attitude in a general day to day basis. Complaining, the detail oriented approach, nitpicking is important in the jobs where it is needed, right? But if you talk in this way to general people on a day-to-day basis, it might not be something which other people would appreciate, right? So while this is an attribute which is a good attribute in the areas where it is necessary, it should not be applied to everyone, because it might not be taken positively. First lord is a lord of self, and sixth house is also the house of pets. So with this placement, you could also be somebody who likes to have a pet, and with this placement, it is also good to have a pet, because keeping a pet is known to reduce the mental stress and the anxiety, and basically increases the happiness level. So it is good to keep some kind of a pet, given the condition that you are able to take full responsibility of the pet. First lord is a lord of self, and sixth house is a house of exploitation as well. So with this placement, in some scenarios, it is possible that one could be prone to exploitation, which might leave a deeper mental scar. Okay, exploitation from others. So please be aware of the people that you are associating yourself with. Okay, you have to be very, here is where you have to be very nitpicky, and very have that keen eye to see who is trying to do well for you, and who is somebody who is trying to harm you. Now first lord is a lord of self, and sixth house is a house which shows court. So in certain cases, there is a possibility of separation, divorce, especially when this dasha period is activated. But this singular placement is not enough to predict this kind of situation. We will have to see an entire chart for that. Now first lord is giving its seventh aspect on the 12th house of loss, hospitalization, expenses. So with this placement, where sixth house is a house of routine, is a house of discipline, and it is a house of maintaining your physical body and wellness, it is very important for you to focus on all of these areas. You will have to have a strict discipline, strict routine, wellness programs, either attend wellness program or have certain wellness hobbies or habits which you will have to do on a day to day basis, because this is going to be a game changer changer for this placement. Okay, keep yourself busy with all the wellness programs, and things will, you'll start to feel better with this placement. Doing some form of physical activity on a day to day basis, as basic as walking is also fine, but having some form of physical activity in your routine is essential with this placement. Also, it is good to do any kind of physical seva for the weaker sections of the society, widows or orphans or old age people, any kind of vulnerable sections of the society. Helping them is going to benefit with this placement. Doing some form of charity, with respect to the 12th house significations, will also prove beneficial. I will in future make separate videos with different type of planets as the first lord in the sixth house. If you have this placement in your chart, please do mention your experiences in the comments section. I hope you guys must have liked the video. Please do not forget to subscribe the channel. Also, please do let me know in the comments section below what more videos would you like to see. Thank you.